Hi there. Still on Matthew 24 today and are through the New Testament in a year. This is one of the best chapters in Matthew. It's like reading the whole book of Revelations in a single chapter with Jesus talking, right? God himself. We did the first half yesterday. Lots of good stuff in there. You can go back and watch that and catch up if you need to. But today we're doing the second half. Still Jesus talking about the days to come. Hey, the coming of the Son of Man. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. Talking about after the tribulation, right? And the stars will fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven a sign of the Son of Man. That's him. And then all of the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay? The elect, that's the chosen ones. That's us, right? For Christians. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all these things, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly, I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Got that? All right. Now, there's a lot of talk about this generation. Is he talking about that generation? Or, okay. No, that's something to get into, right? No one knows that day and hour. Concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Right? When you least expect it. Then 2 men will be in a field, and one will be taken, one will be left. 2 men will be grinding at the mill, and one will be taken, one will be left. Therefore stay awake, for you do not know on what day or hour the Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would have not let his house be broken into. Therefore you must also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Okay? I remember when I was a teenager in the 70s and we lived in the youth group like the rapture could happen at any second, all right? We swore it was coming any second, and we lived like that. And that's not a bad way to live. Okay? Coming when you don't expect. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom his master had set over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant, whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Right? Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites in that place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right? Amazing. Now let's go over here, and we'll check the notes just for fun, right? 24:29 is talking about immediately after tribulation, those days will be dark, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of earth will be shaken. Where's that? It's in the whole verse. Everlasting damnation shall be the end of the security of the wicked, and everlasting bliss of the miseries of the godly. 30. And shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, the kindreds of the earth will mourn. What's the next 3, right? The exceeding glory and majesty which shall bear witness to Christ, that Christ the Lord of heaven and earth draweth near to judge the world. All nations, and he alluded to the dispersion which read in Genesis 10 and 11, or to the dividing of the people of Israel. Okay? And also, there's lots of notes in 30, right? They shall be in such sorrow that they shall strike themselves, and it is transferred to the morning. When he comes, right, sitting upon the clouds as he was taken up to heaven. 31, from the four quarters of the world, right? That's these angels, right? Angels, great sound and trumpet, from the four winds and from one end of the heavens to the other. If God hath prescribed a certain order of nature, much more hath he done so to his eternal judgments. But the wicked understand it not, or rather make a mock at it. But the godly do mark it and wait for it, right? Look for the signs, okay? They're all there. When his tenderness showeth that the sap, which is the life of the tree, is come from the root into the bark, right? It's when you know summer's coming, right? This age, the word... Okay, there's the one. This age, generation. This word generation or age is being used for the men of this age, okay? 35, the Lord doth now begin the judgment which he will make an end of in the latter day. Hey, what's 36? What of that day and hour with no one? No one knows the day or the hour. Nobody. It is sufficient for us to know that God hath appointed a latter day for the restoring of all things, but when it shall be, it is hidden from us all for our profit, that we may be so much more watchful, that we be not taken, as it were, in old time in the flood. Right. If you knew exactly when the day was coming, you would screw around until that day, right, and not get anything done. 38. The word which the evangelist useth expresseth the matter more fully than ours doth, for it is a word which is proper to brute beasts, and his meaning is that in those days men shall be given to their bellies like unto the brute beasts, or otherwise it is no fault to eat and drink. Right. Like your dog, when you feed it, just gobbles it down, right? 40. Two shall be in the fields, one shall be left, right? Against them that persuade themselves that God would be merciful to all men, right? And do by that means give over themselves to sin, that he may in the meanwhile live in pleasure, void of all care, right? He will not be merciful to all men. He will judge all men, right? 41, the Greek women and the barbarians did grind and bake. 42, an example of the horrible carelessness of men in those things whereof they ought to be most careful. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour the master comes, right? Horrible carelessness. And 51, all end will be cut off, and give his fortune with hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right. Talking about the lazy servant when the master comes back. To wit from the rest, or will cut him into two parts, which was most cruel kind of punishment, wherewith, as Justin Martyr witnesseth, Isaiah the prophet was executed by the Jews. The like kind of punishment was read in Samuel. Wow. So, you know, you should go back and listen to these two verses about Matthew 24, right? Read it, study it carefully. There's entire books written on this chapter, okay? Okay, this is just the second half of it, okay? Over here, and here, okay. The abomination of desolation we talked about yesterday. Okay. It's in the Antichrist will sit in the seat of the new church that's not built yet. They're getting ready to build it, right? Soon, in the next couple of years, they're going to be building that temple again, right? And then that will be a sign, right? Like the trees, like the leaves on the fig tree, that will be a sign that the end is coming. So, right? So there you have it. That's Matthew 24. We'll mark that as complete. And tomorrow's 25, of course. 1 through 30. More parables. Lots of parables tomorrow. But 24, he was just talking to his apostles. And what will be the signs of the end of the age? And he told them. Okay? And he told them. And most of it's in the Old Testament, too. Like looks like Daniel, okay, and Isaiah, they were given glimpses, okay. Jesus knows, okay. He admitted he doesn't know exactly when, because only the Father knows that. Okay? But he knows it's coming, and he'll be the one sent back, right? So there you have it. Give us a like if you think about it. Catch up on any you may have missed, or you can read Matthew and Jonas. Here, we'll be in 25 tomorrow. But until next time, we'll keep going. See ya.